are following breaking news. Iran has launched an attack against Israel. If you're just joining us, dozens of Iranian drones are now bound for Israel, as well as cruise missiles, according to the Israeli news media. This, of course, leaving the entire Middle East and beyond very much on edge. Israeli forces are planning to intercept as many of those aircraft and missiles as possible. The United States has said they will help with those interceptions as best they can. At this hour, however, we do not yet know what the results of these attacks may be. Just moments ago, the White House said that this attack is expected to unfold over the next few hours. It is just past midnight in Israel. We have got reporters and analysts all over the map as we track this news, including MJ Lee at the White House, Jeremy Diamond in Jerusalem, Clarissa Ward in Tel Aviv, and Ben Wiedemann in Beirut. I want to get straight to our Ben Wiedemann, who is in Lebanon. Ben, if you could, please bring us up to speed with the latest. What is Iran using now to attack Israel?
Well, as we heard just an hour ago, that Iran had launched drones in the direction of Israel. Now, we heard also that the United States is going to try to intercept anything that flies in the direction of Israel. Israeli military spokesmen are saying it could take hours for those drones to reach Israeli territory. And as you said, cruise missiles as well, according to Israeli media, have been launched in the direction of Israel. Now, as a result, Israeli airspace has been closed, Jordanian airspace has been closed, Iraqi airspace has been closed. In Israel, of course, we knew even before this news came out about the Iranian launch of drones and cruise missiles that tomorrow all schools and universities in Israel have been canceled. We understand that in Haifa, bomb shelters have now been opened. So essentially, the region is waiting to see when those projectiles reach Israel. Will they actually hit anything? As we know, Israel has the ability, along with the United States, to track them as they fly in the direction of Israel. And we've seen that whether it's the Arrow anti-missile system, the Iron Drone, and other means, whether Israel will be able to actually shoot all of them down before they actually hit the ground. Alex?
Clarissa, to you, we're showing live pictures of that Tel Aviv skyline. One of the major questions is, of course, what the targets are intended to be. Now, there is a sense that if Iran does not want to escalate this, that they won't go, for example, for civilian centers. They won't try to target downtown Tel Aviv where you are. Obviously, we don't know what those targets are going to be. But what is the Israeli government saying to its citizens in order to stay safe in a way that we might be able to glean what it is they believe those intended targets to be?
Well, essentially, they're saying this is a moment for caution. This is a moment to listen carefully to what you're being told to do. This is a moment not to panic. This is a moment for unity. As you heard Ben Wiedemann saying there, schools are closed, universities are closed, camps are closed, no gatherings of more than 1,000 people. Everyone here being urged to keep a close eye on the news, on their phones, and pay attention to what they're told to do. I do think that the prevailing wisdom had been that Iran was telegraphing this for some time, that they had made it very clear they felt it was necessary to respond to Israel's attack on April 1st in Damascus that killed 7 Iranian officials, Quds forces, according to the Israelis. But now the question is, are they able to retaliate in a way that does not escalate? Are they able to find that so-called Goldilocks spot? And the fear is, of course, that given the backdrop, given the tensions, given the fact that we are really in a kind of unprecedented moment, that there are so many things that could go wrong, that there are so many potentially unintended consequences that could lead us into a regional conflagration that very few people across the region actually want to see. You have had U.S. CENTCOM commander General Eric Kurilla here for 2 days. He just left talking about how the U.S. will work with Israel to deter any kind of attack. But certainly there is a sense that this is the precipice of a moment that could turn into something much larger if cooler heads don't prevail and if the region is not able to collectively kind of come together and avert an all-out catastrophe. So certainly tensions are high, but I would not say that we are yet in a sort of panic stations moment. These drones are flying very slowly, as we have heard over and over again. It will be hours. The real question becomes whether they are then accompanied by attacks from Iranian proxies, missile attacks. What those targets could be, Alex, is pertaining to your initial question. We don't yet know. Everybody waiting and watching very closely to see what will come.
This idea of an Iranian retaliation, while also not trying to escalate, is such an extraordinary, difficult needle to thread. And it is one that the United States and its allies, both in the region and in Europe and elsewhere, are trying to make sure that Iran and Israel essentially do thread it carefully in a way to avoid this escalation. I want to get to Jeremy Diamond, who's in Jerusalem. Jeremy, what have the Israelis been saying about how they may respond to this Iranian attack? Because as we're seeing now, this is not proxies yet, perhaps, coming from other countries. This is an attack from Iranian soil, raising the possibility of an Israeli response against Iranian soil.
Yeah, Alex, there's no question that in recent days, Israeli officials have been trying to deter this very scenario, a direct attack by Iranian forces launched from Iranian soil, directed at Israeli soil. And indeed, in trying to deter it, they have been warning that an Iranian attack on Israeli soil in that context would result in an equal response from Israel, meaning an Israeli attack directed at Iranian soil. Now, the question that I have now is if Israel is able to intercept all of these drones or the majority of these drones, does that change the calculus from Israel? But of course, we don't know that this attack from Iran as of yet is limited solely to these drones. We could also see cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, which take a considerably shorter amount of time to actually reach Israeli soil that could still be launched by Iran. I do have some new information for you, though, Alex. Earlier, we reported that it was dozens of drones. I'm now told that the latest Israeli estimate is that there are over 100 drones that have been launched by Iran towards Israeli soil. This is being described to me by sources as a very large-scale attack by Iran. And what we are trying to confirm at this hour is whether or not this involves additional sources of attack by Iran. That could change the game in terms of how much of a response Israel feels compelled to deliver here. But that is something that we will be monitoring very, very closely over the coming hours.
Yeah, we certainly will. It certainly underscores the type of response, the significant response that Iran is carrying out now against Israel. We've been showing that shot of the Tel Aviv skyline. We've gotten used to seeing that picture for the past 6 months, and the interceptions of the rockets coming from Gaza. But what is coming towards Israel right now in terms of those drones and those missiles is a lot more significant than those Hamas rockets.